After a full schedule of boxing for Saturday, November 4th, the results are in regarding the IBF championship fight between Joe Cordina and Edward Vasquez. A tremendous fight. Again, 2023 turning in the type of fights that we really love and yearn. But for those who haven't tuned in to check this match out, catch the replay, because not only was it a most competitive fight, but it was the type of fight that calls into question once again the type of officiating that we see in boxing. So let's talk a little bit more about Cordina versus Vasquez. Boxing is always interesting when you pit people against one another who have something to prove. And this past Saturday was no different when Joe Cordina put his IBF super featherweight title on the line against Edward Vasquez. Vasquez, who hails from Texas, showed up in Monte Carlo to challenge for this title with the type of approach to the fight that no one really expected of him, but he still gave an effort that was worthy of consideration, on my scorecard at least, for favor. Now, as this fight kicked off, there were plenty of opportunities for Cordina to try to establish himself. And he did try to go at Vasquez very hard in the opening stanza of the fight. He established himself by punching hard and fierce with intensity and bad intents. But Vasquez answered right back. Vasquez is a fighter that a lot of people are unaware of. And so his efforts were not focused upon. However, the way he performed in this fight, he performed like a hungry challenger, not just a man who was happy to be invited to the dance. This fight had plenty of ebb and flow. And as far as the two fighters and who brought power and who didn't, Cordina was a stronger puncher, but not more powerful. Vasquez punches weren't as strong, but they were voluminous. He threw punches in combination, which is something that I often speak about when talking about boxing. So Cordina, who was trying to land the type of shots that may give him at least the advantage as far as a knockdown, and in luck, a knockout, was really going for that. But to see Edwin counter what Cordina was doing was quite interesting, because he punched to the body a great deal. And the body punches that Edwin put in the middle rounds made the difference for what transpired late in the fight. As I sat there and I watched this action, I was marveling at the fact that Edwin was circling on the inside as he was dropping his punches to the body and to the head. Sometimes double shots, a hook to the body, a hook to the head. Circling around, both clock and counterclockwise. It was artful. And Cordina, at times, often backed near the ropes, as if to try to draw the guy in for a big shot. But Vasquez fought intelligently and didn't just follow him around, because sometimes the Mexican style of fighting is just to wade in, but that's not what Vasquez did. He presented a question or two that gave Cordina quite a bit to consider as this fight went on, and I enjoyed the ebb and flow from this match. There were rounds I found myself giving to Vasquez on sheer effort. Not the fact that Cordina was just losing the rounds, but the competitive spirit of how Vasquez was contending. It had to be considered. This is why I don't understand why two judges had a wide victory for Cordina, but a third judge had the fight a draw. That simply tells me that that third judge really may have thought Vasquez was the victor, but didn't give it, because this was a Matchroom production and promotion, and Cordina is a Matchroom fighter. When the fight was over, Edwin talked about it post-fight in the ring. They did it to me again, he said, meaning that they didn't give him his victory rightfully. And you know something? I felt the same. This is not one of those fights where I say, well, you know what? They could have at least scored it a draw. No, I felt that there was a clear-cut winner. I had, believe it or not, on my scorecard, Vasquez winning 8-4. However, I will admit that there are a couple of swing rounds that could have gone a different way. Now, if you take the swing rounds, you can have 8-4 Cordina, but Cordina was not that far ahead. That's the difference. There were moments in the fight where he dropped his hands and he kind of circled around looking, trying to figure out the puzzle that was Edwin Vasquez. And sometimes when a fighter does that and he doesn't have the answers, the fighter who is in control of things, dictating the tempo and the pace, you have to give more judge consideration toward that. And that's what I consider myself having done as I watch how things play out here. So at the end of the day, when you see how Edwin Vasquez's reaction when the final scorecards came through, you could tell he was highly disappointed. He won this fight, and Joe Cordina may go on to lose his next one. But what do you think? Take a peek at this fight and consider it for yourself. And be honest with how you judge the rounds, what you base your scores on. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are about this fight that took place between Joe Cordina and Edwin Vasquez. You may find yourself feeling similar to Stormy B-Man. And if not, that's fine too. But I'm just glad we're getting quality boxing. And this is amazing to see these guys get out there and do what they do to entertain us the way that they do. Let me know. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.